So just a little bit about me. So I'm the co-founder of Speaker Express. I've got over 6,000 hours of delivering talks. I've also was an international trainer, an associate trainer for a company for 5 years. So I've done about 18,000 hours of learning to train and to do public speaking. It's a fundamental part of our strategy. You know, we use speaking to grow our business. We use very little actual marketing. Everything we've done is pretty much from speaking, referrals, and you know, we've been around now since 2010, officially business since 2013. And so we do that all. So it is Anik and I who do it. And that's just a little bit more about me. I'm also a best-selling author. Our fourth book will be, so I've written 3, but our fourth book, our first book under Speaker Express, will also be coming out this year, all about the speaker method. So let's talk about a couple of structures. So we talked about the challenges around speaking as well. You shouted out some of the challenges around sales. Today's all about sales, how to win more business through sales. A lot of us have a very interesting relationship with sales. Some of us really love it, like, yeah. Some of us really hate it. Some of us, it brings us our insecurity. We find it sleazy. We find it pushy. But here's the question I always ask people when they have an issue with sales. If you had the cure for the worst disease in the world, would you have a problem yelling about it? Like you could, let's say you had the cure that could eradicate any disease in the world that you choose in your mind. Would you have any problems yelling about it? And often the answer is no. That's the exact belief you've got to have when you're selling. I don't mean arrogance, that's different. The belief in your product, your service. Who's here in the product, like sells products for a living? Who here's in the service space? Okay, so mostly in the service space, great. That's the same level of belief, but because it's our own, often it's our own making, it's our own product, it's our own service, we don't bring that same level of belief and certainty to the sales process. But really you should start with that level of belief in your own product. If you take a £20 note, and you crinkle it and you do that, does it lose its value? If you stamp on it, does it lose its value? Yeah, if you unfortunately pull it through the mud, is it still a £20 note at the end of the day? It's the same with the value you bring. Yeah, you've got to have that same value when you're in a sales process, that same belief that your value never changes. One of the best things you can do in business, it's not everything, is learn to sell, but in a way that's authentic and real to you. So today we're going to talk about a structure. You need to find your way of delivering that. We're not about stand here, raise your hand, do this, no. You need to find your way of doing it. We just know these two structures work. And talking about the audience psychology, we'll talk a little bit about that today, okay? Before I hand it over for the night. So here's one structure, and this is really focused when you're raising funding. Yeah, and I'll talk you through each one. And again, are you going to nail this tonight? Is it? No, but just feel free to take a picture. Please, if you're going to share it anywhere, tag us, accredit us, you know, just give us some, hey, give us some love. But here's this, and this is what we've taught a lot of people that are fundraising, slightly different from if you're just selling from stage, because often people stand up on stage, they're pitching their business. This still works, by the way, if you're not raising funding, you just change the funding requirement to a call to action. Let's talk through it. People buy for 2 reasons. What are they? Huh? Need, yes. 2 P's. Pain, pleasure, right? Most of you here, not all of you, will be dealing with some form of a pain. Now, if you can't articulate the problem, the first thing you must be able to do is articulate the problem and the pain that problem causes. As a result of that pain and problem, there has to be an opportunity for you to sell your product. So when you're standing pitching your business, hello, you've got to be able to articulate that. Pretty much, if you can articulate this well, now remember, when you're pitching, is it about you or the person potentially buying or investing in you? You need to talk their language. You need to communicate to them while it's your product, yeah, while it's your service. Next part is your solution. Now again, Anik and I always have this debate. Do you say your name? Do you not say your name? Do you introduce yourself? Do you not introduce yourself? Choose what's comfortable for you, right? You can introduce yourself here, which we'll get to, and that's where you bring in your credibility. But, you know, again, if you can't articulate how you're solving the problem, you're not going to get the sale. You're not going to get the investment, right? So it's about being able to articulate your solution, which is relevant to your market. The amount of time, so I've worked with the Princess Trust for 5 years. I've been involved in pitching competitions. I've worked locally. To me, I've trained the Spelthorne pitching competition, and they all pitched for funding for the last 3 years. And I've heard many pitches, and the problem is that a lot of people, when they use this structure, is they're too centered on themselves and not enough on the audience or the potential market, even in their language. We had a guy, brilliant idea. Just last week, I did some training on it. Just got out of prison. He's doing food from behind bars. He trained himself to be a nutritionist in the cell using a kettle for £1 a day. Great concept. Fabulous. Totally PRable, right? Is that even a word? PRable? Yeah? Huh? Is now, right? Totally PRable, great. Something that Jamie would get involved in. He definitely needs good PR right now. Yeah? Something that someone will get. But the problem is, he did all of this about himself. And it gets really, really boring, with all respect to the guy. So we taught him this, he's tweaked it. I look forward to seeing his pitch at the competition. So articulating your solution. Your credibility. Again, this is literally a list, a non-emotional list of you and what you bring to the table. Does that make sense? So this isn't your story, although that can be a part of it. Who here knows Bumble? Do people know Bumble, the app that teaches language? Yeah? It's an app that teaches languages, right? When they did their pitch, they opened it with the 5 reasons why you shouldn't invest in them. How brave is that? The 5 reasons you shouldn't invest in them, but when it came to the credibility, they then flipped it why you should invest in them. Yeah? So think about that. So your credibility is literally, I've got X amount of years, I'm educated here, I've done this, this, and this, and this. So people know who they're investing in. Who do people buy from? People that they know, like, and trust. Yeah? The credibility is the beginning of that. Then you've got the marketplace. You've got to demonstrate that you know the marketplace. Very simple. If you can't know your marketplace, how are you going to be able to demonstrate who the competitors are and how you slot in? Again, this is about funding. I'm going to go to another structure in a minute. Yeah, does that make sense? Then, how are you going to compete? That's your strategy. What's your revenue model? And here's the thing. I've also pitched for investment. And I remember years ago, I went to my mentor and I'd written this beautiful business plan, and it was really thick and really long. Who's done that? Written a beautiful business plan that's really thick and really long. And then, I don't know if they've done this to you, and then your mentor sits and goes, that's crap, 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 and you're like left with a page. And they go, that's your plan. You're like, part of the reason he was so annoyed is because people go crazy on this. Within 6 months, I'm going to make £10 million. My idea is so good. Maybe. Maybe you're that unicorn, and I hope all of you, or some of you are. But you know, when people are doing this, they want to know that you've done your homework. So if you come up with it's £9 million exactly, investors won't believe you, because it can never be on the money exactly. Yeah? And then who's your team? Who's backing you? Who's part of the growth? And of course, what are your funding requirements? So that's if you're selling and pitching for investment. If you want people to buy into a bigger picture. So, you know, the likes of Facebook and the likes of Google, when they started, they would have done this to get people to buy in. They would have sat there in a room full of investors. Yeah? Lots of them pitched like this from stage and won the funding requirements. Yeah? Now it's valued at $500 billion. Facebook days. I don't know what Google's valued at. Yeah? Who would like to be valued at $500 billion? I like the thought that I could get there. Be nice, right? So that's if you're raising for funding. Now this is a slightly different structure if you're selling a product or a service from stage. All right? Very different approach, very different skill set, very different communication. Most of you will use something like this. And I want to be very clear that this is something you bolt onto an end of a presentation. Yeah? You wouldn't start with this unless you're just pitching from the word go. So this is, you've done a brilliant presentation. What is it you do? I've seen you before. You've been around before.
No, I haven't actually been here before.
You haven't? No. That's 2 people that I think I've seen before. Maybe I'm just going slightly crazy. Okay, what is it you do? I'm a videographer, right. So you've done an amazing presentation about how to be an amazing videographer and why you, right? This would come at the end of that. So this is you've led people into wanting to buy from you, not pushing your sell onto them. Yeah, can you see the difference? You want to lead people to buy from you versus pushing your sell onto them. How many of you love, when you sit there and you're seeing a presentation, love to have a sell rammed down your throat? How many of you love, okay, buy, yeah? How many of you love it when they go, well, if you don't buy my product, you'll never ever succeed in business? How many of you love that? Faisal, you can put your hand up there. He's like, I think I love that stuff. Yeah, so this is about, you've done an amazing presentation, you're adding value, and at the end of it, it's like you've earned the right because you've added so much value to sell. Yeah, so earn the right is you're going, have you got value from my presentation? Did you learn something? Can you see this, how effective this is if you implement it in your business? What's going on with my language today? Can you see why you should use How Am I Going as a piece of software? Have you understood the features and the benefits, etc., etc.? Yeah? Again, what you want to do is recap the problem, as in outline the problem again to demonstrate you're still solving the problem that people came to you for. Yeah? Does that make sense? You look very serious. I've got to say this. You're like, learning face, learning face, learning face. Good. Then, again, recap, show people your methodology. So I'm assuming you're an amazing videographer and you have a very exclusive technique that's different from the marketplace, right? Exactly. That's what you would do here. And then showing your case studies. Who thinks showing case studies is showing off? Good. None of you. Excellent. Keep that. Right? Show that your methodology works. Because people buy people. Now, I can tell you that it's brilliant. I can tell you Speaker Express is brilliant. It will change your life. It will do so many great things. It will help you raise funding. It will help you get to the next level in your business. I can tell you that. But if Ash here stands up and says it, it adds more kudos. Yeah? And then if Stella then stands up and goes, hey, yes, me too, it adds more kudos. And the idea with case studies is you want to make sure that people can relate to the case studies. So don't make it so far-fetched. I came and I was only making £1, and then 3 months later, I'm now making 7 million. Like people are like, no. How many of you believe that? But it's true. No. It's true. Right? So make it case and choose the case studies according to your audience. Yeah? Not all case studies are appropriate to the audience you're speaking to. I believe that you've got to gain permission then to talk about your product. So if you're getting, yes, this is great, is it okay if I tell you now how to move forwards with us? Yeah? And people go, yeah, of course. If you've added value, why would someone say no? If it's not right for you, that's okay. But always go, is it okay? Anik, my business partner, doesn't care. She goes, I'm going to tell you about how to move forwards with us. Just a preference, just a style, that's all it is. It's up to you what you want to do there. Yeah, then you talk about 2 to 3 price points. Why 2 to 3 price points and not 1? People like options. What does it do to the brain? Did you say that? Makes them choose. Maybe it makes them choose a middle option, but it's a lot harder for the brain to say no when there's options. So people consider things different. If I went, here's the price, that's it. Yes or no? And that's okay, there's room for that, but we would suggest having 2 to 3 prices. Later on, we're going to talk about a boardroom. Yes, there'll be 1 price because it's a low entry, and we want as many people to go yes or no, and that's okay. You're going to hear about that a bit later, but when you're doing products or services, we should just have 2 to 3 entry points as well. Now, again, if this is appropriate, this could easily be your business story. Yeah? Drop into your personal story. This is when you recap, when you're selling from stage, why you do what you do. This is where you remind the audience why you're on this path, why you are on this mission, why you're on this earth if it's appropriate for you. Because what does that do to the sales pitch? Makes it human. Yeah? What else does it do? Bless you. It makes it true. If someone sneezes after a statement, it means it's true. So it's true. Well done. Yes? Relatable. Yes? You said that? Relatable? Yep. What else?
They might be able to put themselves in your shoes, and if you've made that step, then they can do it too.
Absolutely. Depending what you're selling, absolutely. Or the business story. Relatability, rapport, connection. Plus, at this point, you're pretty much doing stuff that's, I use this loosely, academic. It's heady. Yeah? Here's my methodology. I get the problem. It's all very heady. Now let me show you why I'm a human being and why I care and why you might want to work with me, and you drop into your heart space. Now again, you can replace that with your business story. It all depends. It's not always appropriate to go into your personal story when you're pitching or selling from stage. But if it's appropriate, do. So we're going to hear about Julian a bit later from How Am I Going, right? Who, a member of the team is here, which is why I keep using How I'm Going. But it's interesting because Julian's just raised almost £1 million in funding. However, the way he's approached it, looked like a trumpet. There you go. Right? The way he's approached it is using his personal story, but he's selling a tech company. But he used his personal story that he used to be at Goldman Sachs, and then he got feedback, and the feedback came out of nowhere. He thought he was doing really well, and then suddenly it was like a slap in the face. Anyone had that? Yeah? And then this is what he tells in his pitch. He doesn't go, here's the mark. He does do that as well, but the way he opens is telling his story. And so I left Goldman Sachs, I went traveling. I'm seeing if I can remember this right. I went traveling, and now I came to London, I got settled in London, and I came up with the idea that How Am I Going is all about giving feedback in an empowering and positive way, and now I get to travel the world and work with amazing people and create cultures. Is that about right, Polly?
Sold it. Anyone wants to see that?
There we go. But you see, but there he is talking to angel investors and VCs using his story. So already the VCs and the angel investors are relating to him on a whole different level versus going, hi, I'm Julian from How Am I Going, and I'm going to talk about my software, and yeah? That's why the personal story is so important. Can you see? Or the story that's appropriate for you. Then, of course, what are the next steps? Don't assume, because you've done a brilliant presentation and even a great sales pitch, that people know what to do next. Yeah? Or how many of you see people just jump out of the seat when you finish a pitch? I hope some of you do, actually. But it very rarely happens. Goes, here's my offer. Where can I sign up? Anyone had that? No? Good. You have? I hope so. I really hope so. I want you to go, yes! Right? Without using scarcity tactics and without going, if you don't sign up, you'll never succeed. Yeah? Next step, be clear. Here's how it is. Here's how it will work. Do this, do this, do this, and then, of course, stand up, speak to me, come to me, go to the desk, It's got to be clear. People will not know what to do. Don't assume they know what to do. Deal? Does that help? Two structures, solid structures. Have you all taken a picture? Have you all got it? Anyone need a picture of the first or the second one before I move on? With me like this? No? Okay. Tough crowd, tough crowd. What can I say? Tough crowd. This is what these structures help you achieve. They help you raise investment. They help you pitch for speaking gigs. They help you get partnerships. I know today at the Princess Trust we're talking a lot about partnerships, weren't we? They help you raise your profile. They help you get sponsors, get high-end jobs or clients. Those two pitches, depending on what you need, will help you get that. And these are outcomes of people that we work with for these structures. Yeah? Any questions? I'll wait for pictures to be taken. Okay, good. So, I also want to give you some audience psychology, right? There's 3 key questions that whether you're selling to people or raising investment or pitching at people that go through people's mind. Members, be careful, be quiet, because it's being drilled into you. Non-members, you may speak, right? 3 questions, what are they? You're a member. But you're a rebel, so I accept that. What's one of the questions? The biggest question. What's in it for me? If you're not answering that question throughout your pitch and presentation, they will not buy. You will not get the sales you want unless you can articulate what's in it for me. Right? Good work. The other 2 are, can I trust you and why should I care? Yes, I know on the Eventbrite it said the one question, I'm giving you a bonus. We said one structure, I'll give you another one. Yes? Can I trust you? So throughout your presentation, you must be building trust. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. If they don't trust you, they will not buy from you. And if they do buy from you and they don't trust you, they will cancel. Remember, this is talking about selling something from the stage, right? So unless there's trust there, they're not going to buy. And why should I care? People need to know Why should I care about your product? Yeah? Why should I care about nutrition? Why should I care about property? What's in it for me? We are pretty, in a nicest, loving way, pretty selfish. You're here today because there was something for you. You walked in and go, okay, why am I here? What's in this for me? What am I doing here? Who's this guy? Can I trust him? Why should I care about what he's talking about? Can it help me go to the next level? Those are kind of the thoughts that go through most of your heads, unconsciously or consciously, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. So please, whatever talk and presentation you do, whenever you're pitching, you must address those questions. Not direct. You don't know. Some of you might be thinking, what's in it for you? You don't have to say it that way, but you've got to address it in some way. Yeah? You've got to build the trust, and you've got to explain why you should care. Did you learn one or two things? Good. What I'd like to do is I want you to turn to the person next to you, and I want you just to share what are your biggest takeaways from the presentation this far. Okay? So just take 3 minutes, turn to the person next to you, and just share what are the biggest takeaways you've had so far. Go. So let's have some shout-outs. What did you learn? What are your takeaways? Who would like to share?
Ask permission.
Ask permission to sell? Yep. Good. You should let me know you were coming. I would have brought my Mac with me. Damn. Next time, let me know you're coming. Yeah, good. What else?
I think having a structure gives you sort of confidence that there's sort of steps to follow.
Yeah, a lot of people diss structure, but actually structure gives you confidence, gives you flow, keeps you on track. A lot of people how many people have heard this? I'm not saying anyone in the room says it. I just go with the flow. I just show up and see what comes out. Anyone know someone like that? Is that you? Is that why we had? You don't have to answer that. Listen, structure gives you direction, it keeps you on track, and it gives you confidence. And if nothing else, you can have cards with just what the next bit of the structure is. So if you lose your place, you can pull yourself back. So please, within the structure, have flexibility, yeah? But please do not let go of structure. It's very important. Thank you. What else? A couple more.
The next steps part, I think it's really easy to go into a pitch and then go way down a rabbit hole, and you're actually getting a CTA from that person, and you just are very directed, call to action.
Look at you dropping the lingo. A CTA, call to action. I like it. Good. Yeah, look, so important. So many times I've seen people drop amazing pitches, but then they don't tell people what the next step is. And people are like, so people go, well, and then people are like, am I stupid? Did I miss something? So they just sit there going, I'm not getting up. I'm not getting up. Okay. And you lose the sale. Yeah, so great. Someone else, you had your hand up? Yep. Have a personal, strong brand story. Make it more authentic. Absolutely. Again, it does depend what you're selling. Okay, so you have to adapt this according to your service or product. But yes, absolutely. Oh, there you go. And that's how you make an entrance, you see? Good. One more.
Knowing your audience.
Know your audience.
You adopt your pitch or whatever you want.
Good. Know your audience. Absolutely. What will happen eventually, for those of you who do sell a lot from stage, for those of you who pitch, is you'll learn to have certain ways of selling to certain audiences. But if you're not doing any of that right now, focus on one, getting used to selling one really, really well, and then learn to branch out. All right? Deal? Great. So, that's the end of the theme presentation. So you may give me a round of applause. A round of applause, I said. A round of applause. Good.